Right now, as you're watching this video, a geopolitical earthquake is happening in silence. While you are going about your daily life, sleeping, working, spending time with family, a series of coordinated decisions have been made that will permanently alter America's place in the world. What if I told you that by this time next year, the American passport, once a golden ticket to the world, could become a mark of exclusion? What if entire continents started closing their doors to you, not because of a virus, but because of your nationality? It sounds like fiction. It's not. The mainstream media isn't connecting the dots, but the evidence is undeniable. Hidden in plain sight within obscure diplomatic cables and sudden policy shifts, a new alliance is rising, and its first act is to systematically lock Americans out. What I'm about to tell you will change everything you thought you knew about your freedom to travel, to work, and to live abroad. The list of countries is growing, and the deadline is fast approaching. This isn't a warning about the future. It's an emergency briefing on the present. You need to hear this, because what starts as a travel ban will end as an economic siege on the United States itself. For decades, the world has operated on a simple premise: American influence was paramount. Our dollar was king. Our military was the global police, and our culture was the global default. We took it for granted that we could go anywhere, invest anywhere, and live anywhere. But that era is over. The shift didn't happen overnight. It began with quiet meetings in capitals from Beijing to New Delhi, with hushed conversations about de-dollarization and creating a new center of global power. We dismissed it as rhetoric. We were wrong. According to a leaked memo from a Pan-Asian strategy summit held in Jakarta just 3 months ago, a memo your government doesn't want you to see, a secret pact was signed. They call it the Sovereign Century Mandate. It's a 10-point plan designed to systematically dismantle Western economic and cultural dominance, and its first target is the free movement of American citizens. Why? Because for these nations, American tourists, expats, and digital nomads are no longer seen as economic assets. They are seen as instruments of a declining empire, symbols of an influence they are determined to erase. This isn't about security. This is a coordinated economic and political power play. They believe the U.S. is a house of cards, weighed down by debt and internal division, and they've decided now is the time to pull the foundation out. This matters to you, even if you never plan to leave your hometown. This is about your job, the price of goods at your local store, and the value of your retirement savings. This is about the end of the American century, and it's happening right now. The first domino to fall will shock many. Number 1, the Philippines. For generations, it has been one of the most pro-American nations on Earth, a hub for American retirees and businesses. But the clock is ticking. Starting March 1st, 2025, the Philippines will suspend its popular Special Resident Retirees Visa, or SRRV, exclusively for new American applicants. A source inside the Philippine Bureau of Immigration confirms current American holders will face a staggering 500% foreign influence tax on their local income and pensions. What happens next is even more devastating. The country's booming call center and business process outsourcing industry, which employs over 1.5 million Filipinos serving American companies, is being targeted. The new Data Sovereignty Act will impose crippling tariffs on any company whose primary market is the U.S., effectively forcing American businesses out. This isn't just about tourism. It's a direct attack on a $30 billion industry that keeps costs low for your cell phone provider, your bank, and your insurance company. Expect your bills to skyrocket by mid-2025. Number 2. Malaysia, a paradise for American expats drawn by its low cost of living and modern infrastructure. But here's the twist. The government has just announced a radical shift in its Malaysia, My Second Home program. As of January 15, 2025, all American applicants will be summarily rejected. But it's the fine print that contains the poison pill. For the thousands of Americans already living there, their visas will not be renewed upon expiration unless they transfer a minimum of $1 million into the Malaysian Central Bank and convert it to the Malaysian ringgit. This is a forced capital seizure disguised as a visa rule. It's designed to trap American wealth within their borders and accelerate the move away from the US dollar. The US Embassy is reportedly overwhelmed, but Washington is silent. Why? Because this move is backed by the new Pan-Asian Economic Bloc, and the US has lost its leverage. For the average American, this means another safe, affordable retirement destination is wiped off the map, and another signal is sent to the world. American money is no longer safe. Number 3 is a geopolitical bombshell. India, as the world's largest democracy and a nation, the US has been courting as a counterbalance to China. This move is a brutal betrayal. The Indian government is preparing to launch what it calls Operation Swadeshi, or self-reliance. Starting April 1, 2025, India will cancel its 10-year tourist visa program for American citizens. All Americans will be required to apply for a single-entry 30-day visa and provide proof of a culturally necessary purpose for their visit. A vague requirement designed for rejection. Here's what they don't want you to know. This is a direct retaliation for US tech policies. Leaked minutes from the Ministry of External Affairs reveal this is a pressure tactic to force American tech giants to store all Indian user data exclusively on servers within India, giving the government full access. This locks out not just tourists, but thousands of American tech workers, consultants, and executives. The move jeopardizes a US-India trade relationship worth over $190 billion annually, a shockwave that will be felt in every sector of the American economy. Number 4. Thailand. The land of smiles is about to turn into a land of locked gates for Americans. For years, digital nomads and retirees from the US have flocked to places like Chiang Mai and Phuket. That's about to end. On February 1, 2025, the Thai government will enact the Economic Sovereignty Preservation Act. This law makes it illegal for any foreigner to own a condominium outright, a right Americans have enjoyed for decades, forcing a mass sell-off at rock-bottom prices. Furthermore, the beloved Thai Elite Visa, a long-term residency program, will see its fee for American applicants increase by 1,000%, from roughly $25,000 to $250,000. This is a wealth test designed to fail. A source in Bangkok's financial district says this is part of a plan to replace Western influence with investment from their new Asian partners. For the estimated 30,000 Americans living in Thailand, this is an eviction notice. For American tourists, it means a vacation destination is becoming hostile territory. Number 5. Vietnam, a nation that has seen a stunning economic transformation, partly fueled by American investment and tourism since the normalization of relations. You won't believe what happens next. The Vietnamese government, under the guise of cultural preservation, is set to implement a new visa on arrival policy, effective immediately in the new year, January 1st, 2025. It will apply a reciprocity fee exclusively to American passport holders, amounting to a staggering $950 per person, payable only in cash. But it's worse than that. The policy also requires all American visitors to be accompanied by a government-licensed guide at all times, restricting free movement and effectively ending independent travel. This isn't about culture, it's a political statement. Vietnam is publicly pivoting away from the US and strengthening its ties within the new Asian bloc. This move will decimate the American tourism sector there, which accounts for over $3 billion a year, and sends a chilling message to American investors. You are no longer welcome. Number 6 takes us to one of America's staunchest military allies, a place where over 28,000 US troops are stationed, South Korea. This will shock you. The South Korean government is preparing to radically reform its Status of Forces Agreement, SOFA, with the United States. A pending bill in the National Assembly, expected to pass by May 2025, will revoke visa-free travel privileges for American military contractors, civilian personnel, and even their families. They will be subjected to the same rigorous and often arbitrary visa application process as any other visitor. An insider at the Pentagon warns, this is a deliberate move to make the American military presence untenable, a way to gently push the US out without explicitly breaking the alliance. For the thousands of American families who support our troops there, life is about to become a bureaucratic nightmare. It's the first step in decoupling from American security guarantees, a seismic shift that could destabilize the entire region and bring us closer to a major conflict. The clock is ticking. Number 7 is the economic powerhouse of Southeast Asia, Singapore. Known for its business-friendly environment, Singapore is about to become extremely unfriendly to American professionals. The Ministry of Manpower is rolling out a new Fair Consideration Framework on March 31st, 2025. It introduces an algorithm that automatically flags and downgrades applications for employment passes from countries with a significant trade deficit with Singapore, with the United States being singled out as target number 1. This means American job applicants, even from top tech and finance companies, will be systematically pushed to the bottom of the pile in favor of talent from Asia. The numbers don't lie. Internal projections show a potential 80% reduction in new American work visas granted in 2025. This is a direct assault on American competitiveness and will trigger a massive brain drain from US companies operating in Asia, forcing them to either relocate or hire non-American talent. This is just the beginning of a new kind of trade war. Number 8. Indonesia. The world's 4th most populous country and the host of the secret summit where this anti-American strategy was born. Their move is both symbolic and devastating. Starting June 1st, 2025, Indonesia will require all American citizens, including tourists heading to Bali, to post a behavioral bond of $5,000 upon arrival. This bond can be forfeited for minor infractions, from a traffic violation to a public dispute based on the sole discretion of local authorities. It's a system designed to extort and deter American visitors. Here's what they don't want you to know. The funds from these forfeited bonds will be funneled directly into a new Pan-Asian infrastructure fund, a direct competitor to the World Bank. So, American tourist dollars will be used to finance a system designed to undermine American global influence. Sounds unreal? It's absolutely real. This will effectively kill tourism from the US, which represents nearly $2 billion in annual revenue. Number 9 is a nation that owes its very survival to American intervention, Japan. This is perhaps the most shocking betrayal of all. In a move that has been kept completely under wraps, the Japanese Diet is quietly debating a Foreign Residency Re-Evaluation Act. If passed, which sources say is a certainty by July 2025, It will impose a new annual social cohesion levy on all foreign residents. But here's the twist. The levy is calculated as a percentage of the holder's global assets, a tax on wealth held outside of Japan. And it specifically targets citizens from nations with which Japan has a major trade imbalance. Again, putting a bullseye on the nearly 50,000 American civilians living and working in Japan. This is a backdoor wealth tax aimed squarely at Americans. It's a move by Japan to signal its fiscal independence from the US and its alignment with the new economic order in Asia. What happens next? No one is ready for. It's a quiet declaration that the post-war alliance is over. Finally, number 10, Cambodia. A smaller player, but its actions speak volumes about the totality of this new anti-American front. Cambodia, a nation heavily influenced by Chinese investment, has announced it will no longer accept the US dollar as legal tender for official transactions, including visa fees, starting January 1st, 2025. This may seem small, but it's a critical test case for the broader de-dollarization movement. Furthermore, the government is canceling all long-term business extension visas for Americans, a popular option for expats and entrepreneurs. They will be given 90 days to liquidate their assets and leave the country. This is a purge. The Cambodian government is making a calculated bet that its new patrons in the region are more valuable than its old ties to the West. For the thousands of American NGO workers, teachers, and small business owners there, their lives are being uprooted overnight. It's the final nail in the coffin, proving that no country is too small to join in on this coordinated expulsion of American influence. So what does this all mean? This isn't a series of isolated incidents. This is a cascade, a deliberate and coordinated strategy by 10 nations, representing nearly half the world's population, to surgically remove American influence from their soil. The picture for the near future of America is grim. Imagine a world in 2026 where your passport is a liability. International travel, once a rite of passage, becomes a privilege reserved for the ultra-wealthy who can afford the new taxes and bonds. American businesses, cut off from the fastest-growing markets on Earth, begin to fail. Supply chains that rely on these nations collapse, leading to unprecedented shortages and inflation right here at home. Your 401k, heavily invested in companies that depend on global markets, plummets in value. The most pessimistic scenario sees the U.S. entering a period of economic isolation and decline. A fallen empire, watching as a new global order is built without it. But there is another possibility, a cautiously optimistic one. This could be the brutal wake-up call America needs. It could force us to reevaluate our foreign policy, to rebuild our industries at home, and to treat other nations as partners rather than dependents. The path we take will be determined in the next 12 months. But make no mistake, the world as you knew it is gone. A new map is being drawn, and on it, America is being boxed in. The question is, what are we going to do about it? What do you think is the real reason behind this coordinated move? Is this a geopolitical masterstroke by a rising alliance? Or is it a desperate gamble that will backfire on these nations? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. The world is changing faster than ever, and you have a right to know what's happening before it hits your doorstep. Share this video with everyone you know. They need to be aware of the storm that is gathering. If you want to stay ahead of the official narrative and understand the forces reshaping our world, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell. Our next report is one you cannot afford to miss. We expose the American politicians and corporations that knew this was coming and did nothing to stop it. Stay safe and stay informed.